actor Danny Masterson walking into a Los Angeles courthouse today. Just hours later, a stunning verdict returned.
The mood was pretty somber. It felt like everybody knew something was happening.
The one star of that 70's show convicted of raping 2 women in instances dating back to 2003 while they were all practicing Scientologists. The convictions after 6 days of deliberations, a breakthrough after a first trial ended in a hung jury last year. Los Angeles County District Attorney Jayar Jackson said in a statement, "We want to express our gratitude to the 3 women who came forward and bravely shared their experiences."
The Danny Masterson trial has finally come to its conclusion. 20 years after the events occurred, Masterson has been found guilty of rape. Now, he could be facing up to 30 years in prison, 15 years for each conviction. The 3rd count of rape was stuck in a hung jury after 8 days of deliberation. Now, let's get into some more details from that court case.
It's a stunning fall from grace for the 47-year-old who rose to fame as the wisecracking best friend on that 70's show.
Oh man, see, that's why I didn't want to tell you. You need to get all after-school special on me.
The accusations against Masterson came to light in 2017, more than a decade after the alleged assaults. In 2020, the actor was arrested, charged, and posted a $3.3 million bail. At the time of accusations in the early 2000s, Masterson was one of the most visible celebrity Scientologists. The women accusing Masterson eventually left the church. During the most recent trial that began in April, prosecutors told the jury the evidence will show that they were drugged, also adding intimate details about the alleged rapes, saying Masterson dragged one accuser across the floor by her hair and sodomized another one. The defense countering in their opening statement that the alleged victims' stories are inconsistent and suggested the women colluded over time, adding that the case is people versus Masterson, not people versus Scientology.
Masterson violated his victims by slipping drugs into their drinks. And I think this tweet does a good job of summing up this case. So let's pull this up by Dara Faye, who tweeted out, "A mediocre actor and Scientology cultist has been found guilty of rape. He put drugs into the drinks of 3 women to disorient them and cause them to go unconscious so he could rape them. Meet rapist Danny Masterson, who has now ruined that 70's show for me." Now, the women were former members of the Church of Scientology, and they were afraid to speak out as the church forced them to remain silent. Daily Beast reported that prosecutors alleged that Masterson raped the women as they bounced in and out of consciousness. When the women tried to speak up after the assault, prosecutors claimed they were silenced by Scientology officials and Masterson, who claimed the rape never occurred and demanded they stay away from law enforcement. Actor and former Scientology member and now the most vocal and fierce critic of Scientology, Leah Remini, reacted to the verdict as a relief, and she has supported these 3 women throughout the trial.
Actress and famous ex-Scientologist Leah Remini tweeting after the verdict, expressing relief, adding, "The women who survived Danny Masterson's predation are heroes."
Leah Remini has showed up at this trial several times to be there as a support person for a couple of the women. She's kind of been with them throughout all of this.
In a statement this evening, the Church of Scientology said the church was not a party to this case and religion did not belong in this proceeding.
A lot of people who have escaped Scientology have said that this case, of course, while being very meaningful for the victims, is also meaningful for people who've escaped Scientology because Scientologists have had sort of a stranglehold on the prosecution of their members in protecting them and preventing them, their victims, from getting justice. So this is coming 20 years too late, but it is a step forward in, holding people accountable, famous people accountable, powerful people accountable. Jackson?
I think that, it's especially important whenever there's famous and powerful people who engage in these types of behaviors to be held accountable, and especially in a public manner, because it really often goes over people's heads because things aren't brought to light often. How many women go through different types of sexual assault situations in a variety of ways, and how common that is, and how a lot of women and girls that we all know, who you may never know because they may never come out for so many reasons. I mean, this is a good example of it. 20 years later, and there's some type of remnant of vindication. But and two, just to really think about it as a man, how important it is to, if you know anybody, any men who engage in any type of inappropriate behavior like this, how important it is to call them out in any type of way that you can. Because I mean, just as a man thinking about how that's one of the most disgusting things that you can do to a person. It really is, because I mean, we can say what we want, but most men are just strong enough to where like there's really not much a woman can do, especially if you're bigger. And especially me as a bigger man who's bigger than most other men who would never even do that. It's just disgusting. You know what I'm saying? So I think, again, accountability is incredibly important. And it's just one of the things that when people do get brought to light for doing this type of behavior, like your respect for them just goes to hell, basically, because it's just, I mean, and women got to carry it around with them for the rest of their lives, you know? So it's, it's trash.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my thoughts are with the victims. Hopefully this can give them some sort of peace. Although, like you said, of course, this is something they're going to carry around with them for the rest of their lives. But hopefully now the stain of having done this is something that Danny Masterson has to carry around for the rest of his life.